What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Destiny. In the last episode, we finished up the dungeon Ghosts of the Deep, taking down Samuma, who was in the process of trying to resurrect Oryx, the Taken King, as a light bearer. That's a terrifying prospect, but I think it went pretty darn well. Really, really aesthetically cool dungeon, you know, aside from the one issue with the fact that you're basically required to bring Arbalest for it. In this episode, we're going to be jumping back into the Depths quest line, right back where we started. We've only got a few steps left on this quest. Well, I say a few. We've got like 10 left. So we're getting close to the end here, but let's talk to Saint.
Ah, I see you. You see me too? Ha, good, good. Then it is all working. You, me, this projector. Even if we sometimes falter. There is a war building in Sloane's eyes. One that Xivu Arath will exploit, as she did with Osiris. Savathun wore his face. But it was Xivu Arath who took his light. Her whips drove him into a frenzy, lured him into danger, forced Sagira's sacrifice, and left him to die. Now she twists my thoughts into thorns, draws out the faces of the suffering Elixni into my dreams. She whispers that I took pleasure in their pain. I see their eyes as they died by my hands. And they see me. She does not lie. She challenges what you hold as a strength. Osiris' ambition, my protection, Sloane's duty. I have felt how the right word, the right face, can incite one to violence. But I have changed. What she has taken, it will not break me. Sloane is no warrior of glass, but the war within her. Even stone crumbles under enough strife. Stay with her, Guardian, as I should have with Osiris. We must offer her what support we are able, even if she does not want it.
I'll do my best, Saint. All right. So, what do we have next? Check in with Drifter. Oh, okay, cool. Screen illuminates, revealing an encoded message that unscrambles itself as the projector recognizes your credentials. Is this on? Start recording. Oh, this is the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Hey, hero, dredged up some mighty fine scrap for me, pyramid tech that all those rot bags get their hands on. And I hammered that black gold into shape. Now my rig's running smooth on liquid methane. Sloane and the Long Girl, their special link is pretty strong, thanks to you and me, but it's business something to bridge the gap between the big old worm and our old lady Thunderguns, respectfully. Seeing as how you've always in the mood to do favors, how about one more? I need something under the table. We need a little something out of both worlds, you dig? One of those traitor ghosts. The bad ones. The hive ones. Scrap them and bring me the fragments. Savvy's throne world is chock full of them, but I got one in mind. Details will hit you soon. Sure. Okay, defeat Hathrick the Glass Weird in the Extraction Lost Sector in Savathun's throne world. Well, let's just head right on over there and get that done. Which one is that in particular? Yeah, of course, it's the one in the Quagmire. The one that I have probably run 10 times more than any other Lost Sector in the throne world, mainly just because it is the one right next to the only landing zone in the area. All right, let's just head on over, and I will meet you probably about halfway through the Lost Sector, because y'all know how this thing goes down. All right, we're heading into the last room now, so we're just about done here. I'm actually back to my glaive, just because this thing is so unbelievably fun to use. And I'm still using Crux Termination, the rocket launcher, but I'm using a different one than the one I've been using for the past very long while, actually. This one has Envious Assassin on it as well, but it also has Explosive Light, which, as you can see, is really freaking strong. So we'll take you out, and then we can just kind of finish this. And then we just need to return to Sloane and Asa in the helm. No salvage this time, and no deep dives, just the way I like it, honestly. I mean, I think it's just easier when you just do the basic things, although I wish there had been more quest missions to go over, not just Nothing but deep dives and salads, because those were a lot of fun. But of course, they didn't really have any more depths for us to go to, nor bosses for us to fight, given that they only made 3 of each for this season. But all right, I'll meet you you all. I almost said both. Yeah, all 2 of you watching. I will meet you back in the helm.
Our minds are one, linked by the darkness, but only for a moment. I must borrow Sloane's voice to speak my words. Please, heed them well. Before you can confront the witness, you must understand it. The witness's first victims were once like you, struggling for survival, bolstered by hope, until their hopes became reality. They called it the Gardener, their deity of life. It ushered them into a golden age. For eons they prospered, but their newfound god never spoke to them. It lavished them with gifts, but not with guidance. And though they lived in paradise, they came to crave a greater purpose. They desired meaning, structure, a winnower, to shape the garden. Their scholars discovered that the Gardener shared a connection with another entity among the stars. They called it the Veil, and when they found it, they arrived to claim it. They already knew much about the light, how it could bend the laws of the universe and create life. But they came to realize that it could bring ruin just as easily. The cosmic events it set in motion could wipe out entire civilizations in a heartbeat, without reason. And so they saw the light, not as a source of prosperity, but of unfettered chaos. By studying the Veil, they came to know the darkness. A power that was shaped by thought and consciousness. And in the darkness, they found the means to carve away the chaos of existence, to calcify it into a final shape. Eternal and perfected. They brought the Veil back to the Gardener in an attempt to strengthen their connection. There, they could reshape reality itself. The Gardener would not allow it. And so it fled their world. But they would not be deterred. Having witnessed the truth in the darkness, they used its binding power to merge themselves into the salvation they craved. Thus began the Witness's pursuit. Its campaign to impose meaning on a meaningless universe. One that is nearly at its end.
And so you see, when we're talking about the witness as a they, that's because of its plurality. The witness is, well, not an entire civilization, but most of an entire civilization. An amalgamation of them all into one being. So the witness is not just this singular character. It is power incarnate, darkness incarnate, all in the form of an old and ancient and dead civilization. This is where that last bit of the Veil lore that I purposefully skipped is now going to come in handy, because that bit of lore arrived at the exact same time as this cutscene. So let's listen to that now.
Chioma SE. Research log. Veil interface. Supplemental. They're all dead. Chorus. Conductor. Everyone. It was too much. Swept their minds away like grains of sand on a beach. They're all dead. Maya called it valuable data points. Well springs and rivers are something. What have I done?
Dead. This killed their entire research team, but it sounds like... It's like...
Like their lives held no value to Dr. Sunderish. There's a troubling symmetry with data we've recovered from Titan. Data on the origin of the witness. It too was once multiple people that became conjoined by the way of some sort of ritual with a veil. Perhaps a conductor and a chorus. It is troubling that Dr. Sunderish seemed to be moving down that same path.
I don't like this, Osiris. I don't like this at all.
And now you see just a bit more what the Veil is and why the witness wants it. For all this time, the Traveler has done everything in its power to get away from the Veil, not necessarily because the Veil and the Traveler are polar opposites from one another, but the Veil is the means with which to control the Traveler. And if anything, the Traveler knows what the witness wants, and therefore it has been trying to run, but now it has nowhere left to go. So that is our mission, is to put a stop to the witness and what it actually wants to see. It's not that the witness necessarily has bad intentions. It's that the witness has its own perspective of how things are working, and it's one of those things where it's like, can we really understand its thought processes when it's been blessed and given a different perspective, a unique perspective for so unbelievably long? I mean, you know what they say, when you have things too good for too long, do you really have the same perspective as people who have known nothing but suffering for all of their lives? That's kind of the point of the witness. It's civilization. I mean, we don't even know how many eternities they had the gifts of the Traveler. And over all that time, you eventually start to think, yeah, maybe the chaos that the light brings, yeah, maybe all of the just constant changing and shifting and uncertainty, and the fact that the Traveler really has a power of its own, maybe all of that did start to kind of skew their perspective, and maybe they thought, hey, we need to be able to control this thing. We need to make sure that it isn't out killing things indiscriminately with its sheer and awesome and impossible to comprehend power for anything else that doesn't have its blessings. And yeah, maybe they had good intentions. Maybe they still have good intentions. Who's to say? But at least we know now what the witness wants and why it needs the Veil to control it.
Well, now we've heard what Asa had to tell us. We know our enemy better than ever. To think that it all started with the need for purpose. How that need became an obsession. What bothers me most is how much I understand it. This mission, it's my purpose, my reason for being, my guiding light. Without it, I'm lost. I don't know who I am or what I'm supposed to do. And that lack of direction, it's harder to face than 1,000 battles. I felt the same about my previous mission when I held the line on Titan. And if I'm being honest, it feels like I failed. I survived, but for what reason? What was it all meant to achieve? The only answer I've found is to learn what Asa knows. If I can do that, it will all have been worth it. Our link ended before Asa could explain how to get through the portal. The bond took its toll. But we'll both be ready again soon. When that time has come and gone, then I can feel like I accomplished the mission.
All right, there we go. Let's take our engram, and before this last set of quest steps begins, we're going to kind of just leave it there. So, one more thing before we listen to the radio message that I want to go over, and we're not going to talk about lore here. We're going to talk about a mission in particular. If I can get footage of this, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to before the final shape comes out. It's going to be kind of hard to get it happening, given that it's pretty hard to execute from a solo perspective. In fact, it's impossible for me to do solo. I know that for a fact. I would definitely need help to do so, but getting the fire team to put this together might not be possible for me to do in time. But there is one more weapon that can actually be gotten, one more exotic weapon that is actually obtainable here in Season of the Deep. Not part of the dungeon, not part of the seasonal sets. It is another one that is confined strictly to deep dives. Now, you don't have to make it all the way to Tier 7. In fact, all you need to do is set up some certain parameters as you go through deep dive, and the mission portion itself can be accessed at the midnight level. Now, if you go through, so you set up all these parameters, you can actually go through a door at the midnight level and take yourself into a different part of the mission that essentially allows you to complete the deep dive, but in a completely different fashion. In there, you will then be put into a timed encounter where you're going to have to take down a boss, and if you can beat the entire encounter in time, you will be given an exotic weapon known as Wicked Implement. If I can get footage for this, this will be the next video. If I cannot, we are just going to be jumping into the depths. I'm just giving you guys a heads up that there is a high possibility I may not be able to show this off, which is unfortunate, but there are plenty of videos out there that show this in action. It's just called the Wicked Implement Quest, if you ever want to see it. It's honestly not like a super, like, I'm not really hurting over trying to get it anyway, because it's not like this groundbreaking mission. It's certainly nothing like a Whisper of the Worm mission or the 0 Hour mission. It's just kind of, you go into this dark place, you fight a melee enemy, and you have to shoot some resonant splinters in there and run around in the dark. And that's pretty much it. It's just that, and then beat the boss in time as it goes through 3 different health gates, and you have to kill some big enemies to bring its shields down. And that's it. It's really all there is to it. It's not anything super special, but the exotic itself, Wicked Implement, is actually quite nice and one of the better stasis weapons in the game. So, would be nice for me to get, but again, I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to happen, and it certainly isn't going to be happening on this account, if anything. So, guys, that is going to be pretty much it for this one. As always, we are going to end this with a radio communication, and then we are going to be getting set on the last set of quest steps for Into the Depths. We are just about done, only a few steps left, and then Season of the Deep will finally come to an end. So, guys, thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.
You never did tell me why you trust the Nine so much.
Oh, I don't. Not even a little. I trust Orin.
Orin?
Long story. The short of it is, I may have had a feeling or two for somebody a long time ago. Somebody that lost themselves along the way. But there's a little piece of her still out there. A sliver. Who still has a feeling or two for the somebody I could be. So I trust her. Because she ain't never steered me wrong. No matter how rotten I was. Because at the end of the day, maybe we gotta put our faith in something other than ourselves. Even if we're too stubborn to admit it.
I didn't expect you to put a lot of stock in faith.
And I didn't expect you to lose yours and keep moving. Guess we're all full of surprises, ain't we?
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're being genuine.
Oh, I'm always genuine. People just ain't always paying attention. For real, though, Moondust might have given me a push. Thought it'd help.
Sounds like familiar advice. Is it though? Helping?
No joke? I think so.
Then we have that in common too.